My dear, are you still quite certain about this? I know, I'm not nervous. My apologies. I do not mean to get snappy with you. It's still just a little hard to believe, is all. I know we discussed it. I know I agreed. I know you said I can back out of that at any point. But I would like to think that I'm not as much of a coward as everybody else thinks that I am. I don't want to hurt you, and well, you know what it is that I fear. It's easy for you to say. Perhaps if I were a mortal, a Midgardian, I would not think that my truest form, birth form, whatever you want to call it, was as monstrous. I've seen plenty of different creatures in my lifetime, found many different races and species attractive. It's not about that I won't look human-like. It's... You have to understand. It's not as though Frost Giants are just some different race. And for some reason, on my instinct, I find them unattractive or disgusting. It's... We were raised specifically told that Frost Giants were the worst monsters in the world. Myself and Thor, we would play pretend. One of us would be a murderous, monstrous Frost Giant, and the other would be a brave Asgardian knight. Perhaps that should have foreshadowed something. How often I were the Frost Giant in those scenarios. We were told and praised upon how we would defeat them and kill them. They weren't just another species on another planet. I was taught from when I was a babe that they were all evil and disgusting. And I know it was wrong. I know you keep telling me, I know Thor keeps telling me. I know it was wrong. And I know that isn't true. It's not true of any species. Even if Laufey were a monster, him and all of his followers, that doesn't account for every single Frost Giant. At one point he and Odin were allies. Perhaps even friends. So it's not that... If I had simply found out that I was not Asgardian, that I was a Frost Giant, but that Frost Giants were just some cousins of ours that just lived in a different realm, it would have hurt. The deception. Not that was not upset that I felt as though they were not my real family. I know what I've said in the past, and I regret it. Especially to my mother. But of all the species it had to be, it couldn't have been that I was secretly an elf, right? If it had been that, then alright. I would have been upset that perhaps there were powers that I had that I was unaware of, that I was subconsciously masking and shapeshifting. But it wouldn't have become this. And Odin knew, he knew. He had to have known I would find out someday. Did he just hope that I wouldn't? How could I have not felt like a weapon? Finding out that I was Laufey's own child. I would have done anything to get his approval. I did. I mean, You know that I killed him, right? My birth father. I don't even know who my birth mother was. I think I'm glad of that. I only had one mother. I wouldn't have needed anyone else. I wish she'd have told me. This wasn't what this discussion was meant to become. And I know I've said most of this to you before. It's taken us a long time to get here. For me to be this open with you about it, to even be considering this. You understand it won't be exactly like how Thor has described it to you. The little that you have seen. There are certain things that can trigger that form to come out. Such as touching the casket of ancient winters. I think perhaps touching any sort of snow and ice is a bit dangerous if I wish to keep hidden. No wonder Father always made us wrap up and insisted on me wearing gloves. I know that you've seen bits of my skin turn blue before. And while that, yes, is how it can appear, if I reach inside myself and I look, I know that my truest form is different. More different than just a human with blue skin looking sort of person. I might make for a lousy frost giant. Perhaps I'm some sort of half-breed. Even if I let all of it out, I'm nowhere near as tall as any of them. Or perhaps I would have been, and my magic or Odin's magic, suppressing my height, suppressing my true form. Perhaps it stunted my growth. Perhaps it stunted how I should look. So, I'm not going to suddenly break through the ceiling or anything like that. But, well, I'm already quite a bit taller than you, darling. I do know that you enjoy that. But changing from, what, around 6'2" to be closer to 8 feet. You quite sure you're ready for that? And you're quite sure that... No, I understand that it might seem like I'm overreacting. I'll pretty much look exactly the same, just taller and with different looking skin and eyes. It's not as if I'm going to look completely different, or grow a second head, or... I don't know. Perhaps to you, when you've seen so many different species and aliens, this is nothing. And my reaction might seem quite silly. You are sweet. Yes, I... suppose perhaps all of this can help me get over some trauma, as you put it. If you really do enjoy this form so much, perhaps I will have a desire to shift into it more often. Well, I suppose there's no time like the present. I've not done this often. I tested it a few times, and I'm not exactly sure how the entire clothing situation will go. I mean, you've seen what happens when a banner shifts without meaning to. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to undress and shift, and then, well, you can take a long good look and decide if you still want to continue with this. And I promise if you do want to continue, I will get my act together and make sure you're a good little pet for me. I understand I don't have to be in control during this scenario, but I think I would like to. I think I need to. I'm not ready to be exactly that vulnerable with you yet. But one day. Now, I would ask you to turn around, but it's nothing you haven't seen before. No, you don't need to leave the room. As long as me shifting won't upset you too much. Then, I suppose get ready to feast your eyes. I know I have to turn around. I... Right. After everything I've done and been through, you'd think I wouldn't get scared of something like this, perhaps, but... Alright. Well, this is me. Yes, you can touch if you want. My skin might be a little colder than what you're used to. Mm. Beautiful. Are you quite sure that we're looking at the same thing? Well, then again, I have sat with you through certain films. Perhaps you've always had a thing for monsters. If I'm not a monster, then what? I've certainly done monstrous things. Even if I may no longer be proud of them. I suppose I should be pleased. Well, I'd know if you were lying. And you aren't. As hard as it is to believe. You would still like to continue with the scenario we discussed prior. And you know how to end the scene at any time. And you are brave enough to attempt this. I can see you staring. Alright. And just to practice. What's your colour right now? Good. You say red and we stop. No questions asked. I won't be offended. I won't think that you're... Well, alright, perhaps a little bit of me might worry that you're saying it because you've realised that I do terrify you like this after all, but I will do my best to refrain from such thoughts. Alright then, my dear. Shall we begin? Thank you all so much for watching, my lovelies. A reminder that custom audio and art commissions are currently open. I have 2 separate Ko-fis with those on to keep them separate. You can find them both on my card. I also have a Patreon. If everyone who followed me there donated just £1 a month, it would help me out a lot and allow me to move out. Rewards for being a patron of mine include access to my Discord, your name read aloud in the credits of YouTube videos, and 2 exclusive spicy audios every single month for the top fledgling tier. And a reminder that I do stream on Twitch at least 3 times a week on average. And a thank you to my Patreons. My fledglings, Phoenix JN, Antichrist, Isabel, Enter, Cello Moon, Whipson, The Lucio Archive, Snazzy NK, Cynical Altura, Ebony Voigt, Rasley D, Taylog, Techsexual, Theo Nightmare, Liam, Nesquik, Vampire Obsessed, Nerd Herder, Mouse, Ali Wally, B, Jordan Draws, Food Crimes and Fire, Ollie Mac, Rice Puffs, Atis, Shammy, Ruby, Glitch, Carry On, Euronotti, Lady the Lake, Asterash, Delmo, Unibosh, Not So Kiwi, Percy, EJ Fears, Kuro, Hell, The Solacis, Aether, The Best Cheesecake, Tiffany Boyer, Void, Aspen, Spider, River Heights Puff, Perry Small, Arbitrary Descriptivism, Fashion Beauty, Prince, Theo Nightmare, Eliana Immer, Luna Vix, Lydia Perez, Kate Fry, Joanna Cole, Roses in Blue, Please Don't Perceive Me, Glitchy Kitten, Ray Carts, Ray, CJ, Indrid, Nico, Emily, Sweet Jade, Sammy, Ev, A, Tisness, Kit, I Am Just Vibing, Your Mom, Arcane, Loveblur, N, Jane Randazzo, Nicole, Elizabeth Vaughan, MX Pinksuit 230, Ray Queen Lilith, Anita Fortain, and Tarragon. And a thank you to my familiars, Abby Clayton, Doris, Dandelion, Saladoria, Lauren Lovett, Hunbun, Sev, Finn, Kiara, and Rhiannon.